All right, you got some Piston fans that now want to revisit the talk of going out there and getting Devin Booker. I'm not mad about it. And I kind of brought up Kyrie because he was going to be cheap, and Dallas is going to want to get rid of him. But then on the other hand of it, you got the owner of the Phoenix Sun, Matashib. I think he's a Michigan State alum, and he's been very vocal of not wanting to get rid of Devin Booker. But Devin Booker is frustrated out there. I mean, they did make the eighth spot, and did the play in, and Matasheba wanted to rush and put a winner on the floor when James Jones, who's the president or the head of basketball operations, he was trying to put a winner on the court the right way, and then Matasheba came in and wanted to rush and put a winner on the court. So, that became a whole little thing right there. And now, the Phoenix is in a bad way. They sit there, they mortgage their whole future to get a guy named Kevin Durant. It didn't work out. Kevin Durant, was it him, Kevin Durant, Booker, and Chris Paul at one point? Then they tried to get Bradley Beal. That didn't work out. But, with the Pistons, I mean, Devin Booker, I think most people are willing to give up the farm to get him. But then also there's a point that remains within that. At that point, do you sign and trade Jalen Duren there? Also to the point, how do you replace Jalen Duren? Do you have to get Mark Williams back in the trade? What's the backup plan? Do you go get Miles Turner? The reason I keep saying Miles Turner is because they was linked to trying to get Miles Turner last offseason. So I don't know. It's a great question. Because you still would have an issue at the forward position. You probably just need somebody to be able to shoot that three at the four and play some defense. I mean, who knows? The Nuggets might blow it up. Maybe you may look at a guy like Aaron Gordon. Maybe you may look at bringing a guy like Jeremy Grant back, if you want to play his position. Yeah, it's interesting to see, kind of how they would do it. Because Book, Cade, say you keep Asar Thompson, and then at the four, you just want somebody. Even if you start Tobias, you want somebody that's a chain that can shoot that three from the corner, that can defend and rebound. I mean, if you brought in Draymond, I wouldn't be mad at that. You brought back Jeremy Grant. I mean, wouldn't be mad at that. He would be an ideal third scorer, but then how would you feel in the middle of that defense? At that point, you keep Jalen Duren. I mean, you could realistically keep Duren, Grant, Devin Booker, Devin Booker, Grant, Sar Thompson, Duren. You would have to give up a bunch of picks. Ron Hollins would definitely be gone. In reality, you might have to give up Sar Thompson to get Devin Booker. Are you ready to put Ron in that position? Or you get Jeremy. Let's say you somehow they give Jeremy Grant. You get Jeremy Grant. You keep Duren, Booker, Cade. Then, could you assert, Ron into that spot? Could you assert Duncan into that spot? So, but getting Booker is just, kind of, it makes things more easier. Another ball handler, another guy that can score, another guy that can run the point, another guy that can get off the ball that can score. I mean, the only real difference between him and Kyrie is, he's a little bit bigger scorer. And then, now right now, the book on him is that, he can't be the guy. He can't be that guy. He can't really be that guy that you need him to be. The number one guy in Detroit. I mean, shit. He can be the number 2 or 1B with K. They can do it together. Extreme shooting. I think they work well together. I think he would like to be here, not too far from Grand Rapids. He can score with the ball in his hand. He can run the point a little bit. He can score off the ball. I mean, in a plethora of ways, he's the ideal fit for the Detroit Pistons. He's a great fit for, what they need to do. But the question is, what do you do around him at that point? And that's the $1 million question. What do you do around him? What do you do around him? That's the $1 million question. But at that point, yeah, I'm willing to make the deal. Kyrie will be cheaper. But also, he, not reliable throughout his whole career. When a finals run, then he missed a finals run with Cleveland. He got hurt for another finals run, possible run with Boston. He was injured for that one. injured at Duke. He always injured. So Booker is fairly is durable. I mean, that's one thing you getting. You gonna pay a higher price. You gonna pay a higher price. So I think I would do it, and that's if she was willing to do it. So will he be willing to do it? It's a great question. Real great question. I don't know if he will. So a lot of guys like that, he still want to win now. Can James Jones, convince him to rebuild it over? Build it with a bunch of picks. Look what OKC did. Look what Detroit did. Can we rebuild it that way? But usually the wealthy guys, they want to win now, and they think they can just come in, bulldoze their way into the game, and they think they can will themselves to a championship, to a victory, and it don't work that way. It don't. But at the end of the day, it's one of the things that made a lot of sense. Put them on the team. Maybe you sign and trade during in the deal. Maybe you sign, send Ron during a bunch of draft picks over there, and that might make the most sense in my opinion. So we'll see. We will see. But I think that's one of the things that they possibly may need to look at. That's definitely a deal that, if I'm them, yeah, I'm entertaining tough. Yeah, I'm entertaining tough. I'm trying to get him. If I can't get him, then, maybe I look elsewhere. Maybe I look at a marketing, look at a Kyrie, look at somewhere and just rebuild this thing. So, but obviously they could have had some low budget ones. They could have got the DeRozan. They can get a guy like Zach LaVine. They could have got a guy like CJ McCollum. I mean, now, Kawhi be on the market, but he'll go to Golden State before he come to Detroit. He want to stay in Cali. Might even go to the Lakers. Because the whole thing what can happen with them and the Clippers, he could go to, James Harden to be free. I wouldn't say go get James Harden, but it's a bunch of guys that can be free. So, it is what it is. Let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist for more videos like this. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love, support. Love to hear what you girls and guys think in the comment section. But yeah, a lot of people in the comment section was like, good book. So maybe that might be a possibility. Appreciate y'all. Peace.